A top 20 MBA runs about $300,000, once you count the wages you give up. A plumbing apprenticeship pays you while you train. Same country, opposite direction. We stacked 3 of our career lists into one. 19 careers that never ask for a graduate degree. Paid trades from $51,000. Business roles past $160,000. And 5 that clear 6 figures on a bachelor's alone. Stick to the end. The highest payer here needs no masters at all. $21 an hour. That is what a first-year apprentice in one of these trades earns before they hold a single license, and they get a raise every 6 months. Like clockwork. There is a whole set of trade careers where the training does not bill you. It pays you a wage the entire time you learn. Read that again. It pays you. 7 of them, ranked from the highest median pay on down. The exact paid apprenticeship or certificate that gets you in the door. How fast you reach a full paycheck. And why a person standing on a job site is one of the hardest workers in the country for a machine to replace. The one at the top clears almost $80,000, and most people have never heard its real name. Let us count down all 7. Career number 1 is the highest paid on this list, and almost nobody can say its title out loud. It is the first-line supervisor of the construction trades. The median pay is $78,900 a year, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is the person who runs the job site. They read the blueprints, they sequence the crews, they keep the electricians from tripping over the plumbers, and they answer for safety when an inspector walks on. Here is the part that matters. You do not go to school for this and then start. You arrive here. The on-ramp is a paid apprenticeship in a trade first, carpentry, electrical, whatever pulls you in. You earn while you train, you make journeyman, and after a few years of running good work, a contractor hands you the crew. Groups like Associated Builders and Contractors run the supervisor training, and big national builders like Kiewit promote from inside constantly. The honest catch: the hours are long, and the weather does not care about your plans. The fix is that this seat is where the trade money tops out without you owning the company. Top earners in this role clear 6 figures, no degree behind them. That is the trade ceiling. Career number 2 starts faster, and almost nobody has heard of it. Career number 2 is the industrial machinery mechanic. Median pay, $63,510. And here is the surprise. It is growing 13% over the next decade. Faster than almost anything on this list. These are the people who keep a factory alive. When a conveyor motor dies on the night shift, or a robotic arm jams on an assembly line, they are the ones who diagnose it and get the line moving again. The path is short. Really short. Many plants hire straight out of high school and pay you while a 200 to 400 hour maintenance certificate stacks up on the job. No 4-year anything. The catch is night shifts and grease under your nails. The trade-off is that every modern plant runs on these machines, and a machine cannot fix the machine next to it. Career number 3 is a 5-year paid path with one of the steepest wage ladders in the country. Career number 3 is plumbers, pipefitters, and steam fitters. Median pay, $62,970. This is so much more than unclogging a drain. Pipe fitters run high-pressure systems in power plants. Steam fitters weld process piping in refineries. Plumbers rough in entire buildings. Now watch the money, because this is the earn while you learn model at its cleanest. Through the United Association Apprenticeship, you start at roughly 55% of a journeyman's wage on day 1, about $21 an hour, and you get a raise twice a year, every year, for 5 years. You hit the journeyman license around year 5 with 0 tuition debt and 9,000 hours of paid work already behind you. Think about that for a second. The Plumbing, Heating, Cooling Contractors Network and UA Locals post these openings constantly. The catch is the physical wear, confined spaces, and the on-call nights. The fix is that licensed plumbers are the ones who open their own shop and stop trading hours for dollars entirely. Career number 4 is the one with the steepest paycheck growth of the licensed trades. Career number 4 is the electrician. Median pay, $62,350, and the job is growing 9% this decade, much faster than average. An electrician runs the power in everything: new homes, office towers, factory motor controls, the data centers that every app you touch runs through. Here is the wage ladder. The joint apprenticeship run by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers and the National Electrical Contractors Association starts you around 40 to 50% of journeyman pay and bumps you up every 6 months across roughly 4 to 5 years. You take home a check the entire time. By the end, you sit for the state journeyman exam, and after that, a master electrician license is the next rung. Total student debt to get there, 0. The catch is that the code, the National Electrical Code, changes, and you keep taking update classes for life. The fix is that exact licensing moat. It is why a homeowner cannot legally do this work, and why an electrician's phone never stops ringing. Now stop for a second, because here is where the whole list flips on its head. You were taught that the safe play is to borrow money, sit in a lecture hall for 4 years, and hope a job is waiting at the end. Look at what these 4 careers just showed you. Every single one pays you from week 1. Not one of them asks for $1 of tuition debt. And the person who finishes a paid apprenticeship at 22 is not starting their career. They already have 4 years of pay, a license, and a resume. Meanwhile, the borrow now path is still figuring out the interest rate. So who is really ahead here? That is the quiet truth nobody puts on a brochure. Get paid to learn beats, pay to maybe get hired. Every time. Now, the last 3 on this list have the fastest, cheapest doors of all. Career number 5 is the heating, air conditioning, and refrigeration mechanic. Median pay, $59,810, growing 8%. These are the people who install and fix the systems that keep a building from cooking in July or freezing in January. The door in is wide. You can do a 3 to 5 year paid apprenticeship or a 6-month certificate and step onto a paid crew right away. There is one real credential to know: the Federal Refrigerant Handling Card, the EPA Section 608. The catch is, summer is brutal, and the work follows the weather. The trade-off is that every home and every store in the country has one of these systems, and when it dies in a heat wave, the customer is not shopping on price. Career number 6 is the carpenter. Median pay, $59,310. Carpenters frame the walls, build the forms that concrete gets poured into, and do the finish work that makes a room look expensive. The path is a 3 to 4 year paid apprenticeship, often through a builders association, or you start as a helper and learn on the job from day 1. Either way, the paycheck starts immediately. The catch is, the work is hard on the body over decades. The fix is that skilled Finnish carpenters and crew leads command premium rates, and many of them end up running their own small builds. And that brings us to career number 7, the fastest, cheapest entry on the entire list. Career number 7 is the welder. Median pay, $51,000, the lowest on this list, and on purpose, because the door is the widest open of all 7. A 6-month to 1-year welding certificate, often an American Welding Society credential, can put you on a paid crew faster than any other career here. From there, you choose your altitude. MIG welders build truck trailers. TIG welders join aerospace parts and clean rooms. Pipe welders chase the biggest money on refinery and pipeline jobs. There are more than 45,000 welding openings a year in this country. 45,000. The honest catch is the most automatable task on this list. A robot can run a repeating factory weld. But custom fabrication, on-site repair, and certified inspection still sit with a human, and those are exactly where the pay climbs. Lowest barrier, fastest start, and a ceiling you set yourself. So what do all 7 of these careers actually have in common? Look back at the list. Not one of them sent you a tuition bill. Every single one handed you a paycheck on the first day of training. That is the pattern the borrow first crowd never mentions. The default story says school is something you pay for, and a job is what you hope comes after. These 7 flip both halves of that sentence. The school is the job, and it pays from the start. And there is a second pattern hiding underneath. Every one of these careers happens with your hands, on a site, in the real world. That is the exact thing software is worst at touching. A program can draft a schedule or scan a price list. It cannot pull wire through a wall, diagnose a dead motor by feel, or sign its name to a building's safety. The work that pays you to learn it is also the work that is hardest to automate away. That is not a coincidence. That is the whole point. Here is what to do with this in the next week. Do not try to pick one of the 7 today. That is too big a question and it freezes people. Instead, do something small. Pick the 2 that made you the most curious. Maybe the highest payer, maybe the fastest door. Then spend 15 minutes looking up one paid apprenticeship for each near you. Search the trade name plus the word apprenticeship plus your city. You are not committing to anything. You are just finding out whether a real door exists within driving distance. Almost every time, it does. Because exploring two real options is how a choice stops feeling like a gamble and starts feeling like a plan. One afternoon of looking beats a year of wondering. So out of all 7, which one would you actually pick? The supervisor seat at the top? The 13% growth mechanic? Or the welder with the fastest door of all? Drop the number, 1 through 7, in the comments. I read them. Next week we go deep on the single trade with the steepest paid wage ladder in the whole country. You already heard its name today.
$161,700. That is the median financial manager salary in the United States. And the Bureau of Labor Statistics says you can get there with a 4-year bachelor's degree. 7 business careers. Every one of them clears the BLS table. None of them require an MBA. Exact salaries, exact growth rates. The credential that beats an MBA at less than 3% of the cost. And which of these 7 careers AI cannot touch? Stay through the middle of this video, because the 3rd career on the list pulls bigger checks than career number 2 over a full decade once. Commission is in the picture, and almost nobody at a college fair mentions that. Let's start with the highest median paycheck on the BLS table. Career number 1 is financial manager. Median salary $161,700. Growth rate 15% through 2034, which is the fastest growth of any career on this list. And the entry credential is a bachelor's in finance, accounting, or economics. No MBA. A financial manager owns the money decisions inside a company. Cash flow, capital allocation, treasury, regulatory reporting. In a manufacturer, it might be hedging foreign currency. In a community bank, it is net interest margin and capital ratios. In an asset manager, it is portfolio attribution. The work is judgment work, which is why the salary is what it is. The path from age 18 looks like this. Bachelor's in finance or accounting. Bloomberg Market Concepts certification for $149 while still in school. First job as a financial analyst at $55,000 to $72,000. Start the Chartered Financial Analyst program. What most people call the CFA. Levels 1 and 2 get you to senior analysts, pay around $90,000. By the time you finish all 3 levels of the CFA, you are in line for finance manager titles at $130,000 and up. Here's what nobody at a college fair tells you. The CFA charter is the credential that quietly beats the MBA on this track. All 3 exam levels cost between $3,000 and $4,500 total. Study time is roughly 900 hours over 2 to 4 years, done while you are getting paid. A top 20 MBA, by comparison, costs about $300,000 all in, once you count tuition and the 2 years of wages you give up. Real operators in this lane are Deloitte's Financial Advisory Program, Fidelity's Finance Rotation, and the JP Morgan Chase Corporate Finance Analyst track. All 3 hire bachelors only every year. The catch? AI is taking over the analyst tier modeling and variance reports. The way to stay on the manager side of that line is to own the board level capital allocation conversation by year 5. Promote into ownership, not stay in the spreadsheet. Career number 2 is marketing manager. Median salary $160,760. Growth rate 7%. And the bachelor's only path is one of the cleanest in business. The work is brand strategy, campaign attribution, agency briefs, and budget ownership. A senior marketing manager at a Fortune 500 consumer goods company runs 9-figure ad budgets and is accountable for measurable revenue lift. That accountability is what makes the salary sticky. The path: bachelor's in marketing, business, communications, or increasingly data analytics. Google Analytics certification, which is free while still in school. First job is marketing coordinator at $45,000 to $58,000. Pick up HubSpot inbound marketing for free, Meta Blueprint for around $150, and Google Ads certification. Within 5 years, you are a marketing specialist at $78,000 to $105,000. Manager titles land at $105,000 to $145,000 by age 30. Director and VP roles sit at $145,000 to $200,000 and beyond. Procter & Gamble's brand management program, HubSpot's marketing track, and Google's marketing associate roles all hire bachelors only. The catch: AI tools now handle A and B testing, programmatic ad buying, and large chunks of content production. The marketing manager who survives is the one who owns positioning and revenue attribution at the brand level, not the one stuck doing campaign execution at the coordinator tier. Career number 3 is sales manager. Median salary $138,060. Growth rate 5%. And total compensation routinely doubles the BLS median because of commission. A sales manager runs a team of account executives, owns a quota, and reports a forecast to the VP of Revenue. In enterprise software, medical devices, and complex financial products, the closing relationship is human and high trust. That is the work, and it is exactly the work AI cannot replicate. Path from 18. Bachelor's in Business or Marketing. Salesforce Trailhead certification, which is free. First job as a sales development representative at $42,000 to $60,000 base. Pick up Salesforce admin certification for around $200. Move to account executive in 2 years, where the base climbs to $70,000, but commission pushes total comp to $100,000 to $130,000. Sales manager titles in tech, medical devices, and financial services sit at $110,000 base plus aggressive commission. Real total comp in the top performer tier hits $200,000 to $400,000 a year. Salesforce, Stryker for medical devices, and Fastenal for industrial distribution all hire bachelors only into entry sales programs that promote from within. Mark Benioff, the founder and CEO of Salesforce, did exactly this path. Bachelors from the University of Southern California, no MBA, rose through Oracle's sales floor to VP by his late 20s. The catch? AI handles lead scoring and email sequences. The job survives because enterprise closes happen between humans who trust each other, and that does not change in this decade. Now stop here, because the most expensive thing you can do in business is the one most adults recommend by reflex. The default advice on every dinner table in America is, if you want to make real money in business, go get an MBA. The Bureau of Labor Statistics data says that advice is at minimum 20 years out of date. Look at the math on the next 4 careers. 3 of them clear $99,000 a year. One of them grows 17% through 2034, which is faster than software developer demand. And everyone is bachelor's plus a credential that costs under $1,000 and 3 to 6 months of evening study. Career number 4 is Human Resources Manager. Median salary $136,350. Growth rate 5%. Bachelor's in HR, business, psychology, or organizational behavior. The work is compensation strategy, labor relations, executive coaching, and talent acquisition. The grunt work, resume screening, benefits FAQ, policy documentation is heavily AI displaced. The judgment work is not. The credential is the SHRM CP, run by the Society for Human Resource Management. Exam fee is between $335 and $435, depending on membership. Study time is 120 to 150 hours. By the cost per dollar of salary lift math, this is the most efficient business credential on the entire list. Coordinator to generalist to HR manager runs 6 to 8 years. Career number 5 is Personal Financial Advisor. Median salary $99,580. Growth rate 17%, the fastest of any career on this list, faster than software development. The work is retirement planning, portfolio review, behavioral coaching for high net worth clients. The credential ladder is Series 7 for $245, Series 66 for $177, and the Certified Financial Planner exam for $825. The first 2 require firm sponsorship, which is normal. The CFP requires 6,000 hours of planning experience, which you accumulate while paid. Robo-advisors have commoditized the basic portfolio allocation work, which is why the entry tier compresses. The advisors who clear $200,000 a year do estate coordination, behavioral coaching, and high net worth holistic planning. That work is not going anywhere. Career number 6 is Management Analyst, also known internally at most consulting shops as Business Analyst or simply Consultant. Median salary $99,410. Growth rate 11%. Bachelor's in any quantitative major works, business, engineering, economics, statistics. The work is process mapping, cost modeling, and stakeholder presentations. The standard credential is the Project Management Professional, or PMP, which costs $405 for PMI members. The PMP plus 3 years of project experience is the bachelor's side substitute for the consulting MBA pipeline. Entry as business analyst at $58,000 to $70,000. Senior analyst at $80,000 to $120,000. Manager and director titles climb past $150,000. Career number 7 is accountants and auditors. Median salary, $82,740. And at first glance, it looks like the bottom of this list. But hold there for a minute, because the median is the bachelor's only number. The credential changes the math completely. Bachelor's in accounting, then the Certified Public Accountant exam. 4 sections, approximately $238 per section. All 4 together with review course material runs about $3,500 to $5,500 all in. Most states require 150 credit hours, which is 1 extra year of undergrad. The CPA licensed accountant moves from the BLS median into senior accountant at $75,000 to $95,000, then manager at $95,000 to $130,000 within 4 to 6 years. Partner track at a regional accounting firm clears $200,000 without an MBA at any stage. The audit judgment, tax strategy, and advisory work survives AI because it is regulated professional responsibility. The data entry and bookkeeping does not. Pick the firm tier that promotes into judgment work early. Here's the pattern hidden in all 7 careers. Every single one of these business salaries scales because of a specific credential paired with the bachelor's degree. CFA, CPA, CFP, PMP, SHRM-CP. Series 7. Every one of those credentials can be earned while you are working and earning a salary. Every one of them costs under $10,000 all in, and every one of them is recognized by employers as a substantively stronger signal than a generic MBA from a non-top 20 school. My niece Maya is 15, and she is the one who walked into my living room last week and asked the question that built this video. Why does every adult she talks to default to go get your MBA when the actual best path is so much cheaper? The honest answer is that for 30 years, business schools have run the loudest marketing campaign in higher education, and most families are downstream of it. The play, then. Of these 7 business careers, the highest leverage move at age 18 is the bachelor's degree paired with the matching credential on the path. CFA for finance, CPA for accounting, CFPA for personal advisory, PMP for consulting, SHRM-CP for HR. Pick one. Earn the credential before age 26. Stack 5 years of work experience by 28. By 30, you are in the manager tier of every one of these careers on a fraction of the debt an MBA track student is still paying down. Here is what to do with this information this week. Pick the one career on this list that surprised you the most. Tonight at the dinner table, do not ask the teen reading the room with you what they want to do for a living. That question paralyzes them. Instead, name the 2 careers from these 7s that sounded most interesting to you, and ask which one of those 2 felt more like them. Even if their answer is neither, the answer reveals what they actually care about: salary, growth rate, type of work, location, autonomy. 3 weeks of that one question over dinner tells you more about their direction than any sit-down talk about majors ever will. And remember, you do not need to pick the highest paying career on the list. You need to pick the right credential pair: bachelor's plus CFA, bachelor's plus CPA, bachelor's plus SHRM. The credential is the multiplier. Of these 7 business careers, which one would you point at first? 1 for financial manager, 2 for marketing manager, 3 for sales manager, 4 for HR manager, 5 for personal financial advisor, 6 for management analyst, 7 for accountant. Drop the number below. I read the top comments and use them to pick which one gets the deep dive next.
2 extra years. Tens of thousands in tuition. That's the toll most families think a 6-figure career charges at the door. It doesn't. 5 of the best-paying careers in America hire on a 4-year bachelor's degree and never ask for a master's. You'll get the real salary for each one, straight from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. You'll get the honest on-ramp from graduation to that paycheck, and you'll hear whether a machine can take the job. The lowest payer on this list still clears $130,000. The one at the top breaks $160,000 with no grad school anywhere in sight. These are some of the best bachelor degree careers in the country, and we're going lowest paid to highest. 5 jobs, 1 ticket. Let's count up. Career number 1 is computer network architect. The median pay is $130,390 a year. That's the floor of this list, and it's still deep into six figures. The growth rate sits around 13% this decade, faster than most jobs in the whole economy. And the typical entry education? A bachelor's. That's IT. So what is it? A network architect designs the digital nervous system of a company. The local networks, the cloud connections, the data routes that everything else runs on. When a business opens a new office, moves to the cloud, or claws its way back from an outage at midnight, someone drew that map first. That someone is the architect. A typical day is part design, part referee. You review performance and security limits in the morning. You sketch the build for a new site or a cloud migration by afternoon. And when something breaks at the worst possible moment, you're the one the operations team calls. It's a senior seat, and it pays like one. Here's the honest on-ramp. This is rarely a first job. You start in a network or systems role after the 4-year degree. Then you climb into architecture, usually after about 5 years of hands-on work. So the degree is 4 years. The seasoning is the patience. Companies like Cisco sit at the center of this whole world, and the certifications that orbit their gear are how a lot of people prove they're ready before the title ever shows up. Can AI take it? Honestly, no. The risk here is LOW. A model can speed up diagnostics and write documentation all day long, but choosing the design, approving the architecture, and being the person accountable when the network carries the entire business, that stays human. You can't outsource the signature. Career number 2 is software developer. The median pay is $133,080, and the growth rate is the strongest near the top of this list, about 17% this decade. The typical entry education, once again, a bachelor's degree. Some employers like a master's. Almost none require one. What's the work? A developer builds the software people actually use. They turn a need into a working product, fix what breaks, and own what ships. Think of the teams behind a company like Microsoft. On any given day, they're writing features, reviewing each other's code, and chasing down why something slowed to a crawl after launch. Code is the easy part to picture. The real job is judgment. The on-ramp is fast on paper and slow in practice. 4-year degree, then a junior or associate role, then real money once you've shipped things that matter. The 6-figure number is usually a mid-career outcome, not a first paycheck. Internships, a portfolio, projects you can point to and say, I built that. That is what moves you from hired to valued. Now, can AI replace it? This one's a fair fight. The risk is medium. Models write a lot of routine code now, and that's real. No point pretending otherwise. But defining what to build, debugging a live system at 2 in the morning, and answering for what goes wrong, that's still the human in the chair. The coding shrinks. The ownership doesn't. And ownership is what they pay 6 figures for. Career number 3 is aerospace engineer. Median pay, $134,830. Growth is steadier here, around 6%. The entry ticket is a 4-year engineering degree. No master's required to start. These are the people who design aircraft, spacecraft, and the systems that keep both in one piece. They model a component, test it against safety and materials limits, then work shoulder to shoulder with manufacturing and compliance to make it real. Employers like Boeing hire on the bachelors, then trust you with genuine design authority once you've proven the fundamentals. The catch is the seasoning, same as the others. The 6-figure number tends to arrive after a few years, not on day one. But here's the part worth circling. Of every career on this list, this is the one a machine is least likely to touch. The risk is very low. Safety, certification, and physical world accountability. None of that can be handed to an autocomplete. When a wing has to hold at 40,000 feet, a person signs for it. A model never does. Now here's the part nobody budgets for. The master's degree these jobs don't require. Still costs time and money. 2 more years out of the workforce. More tuition, more debt. So the real question was never, can you afford grad school? It's simpler than that. Why pay for a door that's already open? Every career we've named, and the 2 still coming, treats the bachelor's as the finish line for school and the starting line for earning. That gap, the years you spend getting paid instead of paying, is the whole hidden advantage. These really are 6-figure jobs with no grad school attached. Career number 4 is Human Resources Manager. Median pay, $140,030. Growth around 6%. And the on-ramp is a classic climb. A bachelor's degree, then about 5 years building credibility in the field. Then the manager's chair. What do they actually do? They run the people side of a business, hiring strategy, employee relations, retention, and the policy calls that carry real legal weight. 1 hour, it's a workforce plan. The next, it's a sensitive conversation nobody else wants to have. The professional home for this field is the Society for Human Resource Management, and a credential from them is how a lot of specialists signal they're ready to lead. Notice the pattern by now. Bachelor's in the door, experience builds the rest. Can a machine do it? The risk is low. Software can automate the paperwork, sure, but a judgment call about a person, a conflict, a culture, or a compliance landmine that needs someone who understands the business and the human beings inside it. Nobody wants an algorithm deciding who gets hired and who gets let go. And that brings us to the last one. One career left. It pays the most on this list, it's growing among the fastest, and it asks for the exact same starting credential as the very first one, a bachelor's. That's the whole point. Career number 5 is financial manager. The median pay is $161,700 a year. That's the ceiling of this list, and the growth rate is striking for a job that pays this well, running around 15% this decade. The typical entry education, a bachelor's degree, not an MBA, not a master's, a 4-year degree plus experience. So what is it? A financial manager directs the money of an organization. They build the reports, steer the investments, and own the long-term plan. A normal week means reviewing forecasts and budgets, pointing capital where it'll do the most good, and standing in front of executives to defend the plan. When a company decides where its money goes, a financial manager helped make that call and carries the weight of it. The on-ramp is the longest climb on this list, and I'll be straight with you about that. You start as an analyst, in a budget seat, or in a treasury role, then build toward the manager's chair over several years. Firms like Fidelity are full of these tracks. A credential like the CFA can help, but it's a choice, not a requirement. The degree opens the door at 4 years. The title is earned after. Can AI take it? The risk is medium. A model can crunch the numbers and draft the report faster than any human alive. But approving where real money goes, signing off on the risk, and answering to the people whose savings are on the line, that's accountability. And accountability doesn't automate. The spreadsheet is the tool. The decision is the job. So step back and look at what these 5 have in common. From $130,000 to $161,000, every single one of them hires on a 4-year bachelor's degree. Not one requires a master's to walk in the door. And here's the pattern underneath the pattern. What they're really paying for isn't a credential. It's judgment a machine can't own. Designing a network, owning what ships, signing for a wing, deciding about a person, approving where the money goes. The degree gets you in the room. The judgment is what they actually buy. That is why grad school is optional here, not mandatory. The door was open the whole time. Most people just never check the handle. Here's what to do with this. If you're weighing a 4-year degree against a longer, costlier path, run the honest math before committing a single extra year. Pull up the Bureau of Labor Statistics page for any career that catches your eye. Look at 2 lines only: the median pay and the typical entry education. If that second line says bachelor's, then a master's is a choice, not a toll. Spend 15 minutes there this week. Just 15. It's the cheapest research you'll ever do, and it can save 2 years and a mountain of tuition. The goal isn't to talk anyone out of grad school. Grad school is the right call for plenty of paths. It's to make sure nobody pays for a door that's already standing wide open. So here's my question for you. Of these 5, network architect, software developer, aerospace engineer, human resources manager, and financial manager, which one would you actually want to learn more about? Drop the number 1 through 5 in the comments. I read every one. And the most requested career becomes its own full breakdown next week.